Hey folks, thanks for stopping by Campfire Corner. Sitting here with my old buddy Dusty. I like to call him Dusty Trails. We've been friends for quite a while. We're about to discuss things at the Campfire Corner by this nice little cozy campfire. But before we do, let me get my old trusty Lever Action 357. Put it down on that stump, just in case we get a bear or a wildcat come up on us. And Dusty, why don't you introduce the people to you, and we'll have a toast before we start the maiden voyage of Campfire Corner.
Hello.
Hello, Kaiser.
Hello,
How's
Kaiser.
it going, brother?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very nice day.
it's a very nice day.
Sit here
When we sit here
at a campfire
at a campfire and we talk, I think so.
Yes, it is. It's theater.
And tell our stories and show our gear.
Yep.
And that's so fine.
And that's so fine.
Very fine.
It's fine, very fine.
Very
I'm
happy.
very happy to talk with you and yeah, let's go.
Alrighty. Now, first off, me and Dusty have went on a awesome hike. We might, that might be a good thing to talk about around the campfire. A funny story. Everybody would laugh their ass off over me, and it's a factual one. Here's somebody that can back it up. Somewhere on this planet, me and Dusty were walking up a mountain and stuff, and I wasn't worried about it. But earlier that day, I'd moved some of my duffel bags because I was getting ready to go home. And I had to load them in the car. Well, coming down the steps from this one spot, I twisted my back. So I already knew I was having a problem with my sciatic nerve. And this is a funny story. Dusty can vouch for it and tell you the truth. It's never going up the hill that hurts when you got a sciatic nerve. It's the coming down, especially when you're coming down steep hills, because you don't have that control, and it always twists that nerve and kinks it. And it was painful, and I knew what was about to happen. And everybody's like, well, just turn around. Because I was whining like a little bitch. I'm not going to lie, and neither is Dusty. And but I was like, no, I'm going to keep going. We'll finish this damn hike out. And I did. But coming down, it was exactly painful. And I'll let Dusty fill in the rest of them blanks. And he can tell you what a right prat I was that day. It's a funny story.
Yeah, it was a nice day, a very nice day, man. A good hike, a very nice hike. The weather was fine. And I'm so pleased that we have done this walk. Yeah,
Yep.
it was a magic day. It was a powerful day. I think we were very happy that we have done this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were very happy, but I'm saying you can talk about how funny it was watching my left leg try to plant for that
Yeah,
right leg
I
to
know.
come down, knowing that it was going to skip on the scree, all that. To explain, like he said, it was a beautiful day. It was dry, and you had little rocks mixed in with, that loose dirt up on the top that makes it dusty. And my foot would slip on that dust and rock, and he could just see me wince. That's the kind of stuff I was talking about. Because that had to look hilarious, brother, and I can't see myself.
Yeah, it was good. And I tried to heal you with my magic.
Yeah, right, man. But
Yeah.
like I said, it was fun times, and that's kind of the kind of stories that everybody has when they're going out hiking with friends. There are several of us out there that day, and it was a good time. But it was a brotherhood building walk, hike in the woods, and as they say, go take a hike, and we always do. But
Yeah.
this is, seeing as this is the first thing, what kind of equipment do you like to take out on camps? Not just this one, but on a nice camp where you're going to set up. What's your preferred tent? Let's go into that.
What I what I use as shelter, you mean? Yes.
Yes.
I like to sleep under the sky when the weather is good, when there's no rain or something like this. I use my sleeping bag from Corinthia. It's a summer sleeping bag. When it's a little bit colder, I use a blanket, old wool blanket. Yeah, that's enough. Sleeping bag and blanket and something protect me from the ground, a plastic sheet or something like this, or oilskin is better, but I haven't.
Right.
Yeah.
A tarp's a good thing to lay down. I'll always usually throw up a tent of some sort, even if it's just a tarpaulin lean-to, or I'll build something naturally. And that way, just in case while I'm asleep, the weather moves in, I know I'm covered. And that's pretty much, my go-to, even in a nice area where I know, it's not going to rain. That's what they say. It's not going to rain. And but it happens anyways. And usually in the middle of the night and waking up wet, and then it becomes a downpour. That can ruin a camp. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah. Yeah, when the weather is bad or it's rainy or something like this, I like a lean-to. It's very nice. You're open, but you're protected. Yeah, from the weather. You can lay near the campfire. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's a good sleeping setup.
Oh, I agree. The lean-to is far superior, especially for overnights with the fire and having to tend it. I like to use those reflective blankets that you get, at Walmart or whatever equivalent like sporting goods store you have there. They're usually about $4 over here in America per little sheet. And you throw a little rock in it, use some paracord 550 cord, wrap it around that rock, and then you hang it up behind you. And also, if you didn't build a wall of logs in front of your fire, you can put one of them a little ways away from it to reflect the heat towards the other reflectors. But you got to watch out that you don't get your fire too high. That campfire will burn that sheet, or melt that sheet actually right away. So, yep, just something fun.
Yeah. But it's a good choice to reflect the heat. But I like to use my old military tent.
Right? Is it a?
I forget.
Is it an old one that takes 3 pieces or one that takes 2, like a pup tent?
It's one piece.
It's one piece. One piece, and
you need
2 pieces of wood, and so you can make a lean-to and stones or this word I don't know.
No worries.
Nails for the ground.
Oh, okay.
And then you're ready.
Okay, cool. And then you just erect it and put it up and over you. It's hard to do when you don't have video to show people exactly what you do, but it's a theater of the mind, folks. Just picture it as like an old GI shelter half. And you just put it up, or maybe a poncho. You can do the same thing with a poncho.
Yeah.
Tarp is usually good because it's thicker material. Ponchos are easy as long as you get the hood hanging right and you understand how to build it with a poncho. And then, of course, he mentioned wool before. Folks, I know everybody loves this newfangled stuff. It keeps you warm, this, that, and the other. But I'll tell you what, I have not met a material yet that keeps me warmer than an old-fashioned wool shirt, wool pants, We're talking like if it's chilly or it's going to be a chillier night. And then a wool blanket, because even if it gets damp with dew, it'll still retain your heat. You won't radiate your heat as easily. But you have to have some sort of ground sheet, even if it's a bedding of leaves. Put them leaves under there so you're not getting your heat sucked out through the ground. Because that and your breathing, that's 3 ways that you're quickly losing heat. And then, of course, wetness. If you're not keeping that internal heat, which wool will do better than any of that artificial stuff. Now, of course, if you're wearing Gore-Tex around it or something, you're just going to overheat and make yourself moist from your own sweat, which isn't good. But I'm talking for like dew, as long as you have breathable clothing on. And you also have your boots hanging upside down just in case it rains. The only thing that'll really get wet are the soles of your feet that usually are on the ground anyways, and they usually tend to be made of some sort of rubber. So that's my 2 cents. Why don't you jump in for a little while, brother?
Yeah, yeah. But it's a good point when you have wet feet and you want to travel the next day, you must try them up. And wool socks is very good. I use this too. Special hiking socks and good boots, parts of clothes from wool. It's good against the fire. Yeah, I like to wear natural materials. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah.
Well, that's a good
So
that's a good thing you brought up just there about the difference. Wool will burn, but you can, you have a certain point where it's going to combust. Whereas unless you're wearing something that's fireproof, i.e. clothing made for fireproofness like Nomex or some of the other like XGO and the different types of materials made to combat what that stuff does when it burns, it doesn't quite melt, but it like turns to a quick ash in a high heat. But it gives you an instant flash resistance is what they call it. A high heat that comes and goes really quickly. You'll still get respiratory burns, whatever, if it's that bad a fire. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a fire, a campfire. But them artificial materials, the different variations of nylon, what that does is that melts to your skin. And I remember at one helicopter accident I went to one time. I think it was Cortez was with me too there, fellow Marine brother. You could see the nylon. It was a rainy day. It was in Korea, and a CH-47. Yeah, it was CH-47 went down. And anyways, so a lot of the burns, you could see the ripstop material of the ponchos melted, into their skin.
Okay.
And so
Wow.
yeah, that was an ugly thing, but that's what it will do. Nylon. If you guys got 550 cord and you want to prove this to yourself, just take a lighter, burn the end of your 550 cord, and watch it drip, and then try to touch it, and you'll burn your finger. You actually probably get a nice little blister from it. So, your fingertip, well, I wouldn't do it on your fingertip. Do it on the side of it or something where you're not using it and it's not touching things all the time so it doesn't get infected. But, because you probably will get a blister on it. But what's your thoughts on that, brother? Is that what you were intending when you mentioned that? Because that's what I got from it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I say it, I like natural clothes. I have a special poncho, scout shirt from Road Staff. It's called the material called in German Loden, but I don't know how it's called in English. It's a special wool, and it's resistant against fire. Small fire, not when you are burning. It's no protection. Yeah, but it's very nice because when it's wet, it warms you up. You can fall in the river, and when you sit outside and yeah, it's warm your body.
Oh yeah,
It's
Very good
yeah.
gear.
oh yeah. It's like if I'm picturing the material right, it's like oiled or something, or got some sort of a finish to it, or am I wrong? Am I thinking about something different?
Now it's wool, but it's um, a special no, I haven't the word.
A special treatment to it, some sort of
Yeah.
something compound to
Yeah,
put with the wool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
It's stronger.
It's
Yeah,
stronger, and yes, it's very nice. It's very nice.
yeah, yeah. And then when you're out there and you're just going out to camp with some buddies, you got two options when you're doing that, folks. You can go heavy or you can go light. Today we'll talk about light camping and how we keep it light. And I'll let Dusty go on and explain what kind of stuff he takes out on a hike, because you never know if you're out there in the boondocks and something happens, you might have to take care of it and heal thyself instead of or heal a brother, help heal a brother that gets hurt. And then you or he may be out there all night, or both of you, and you may have to take care of him while another buddy runs for help, in some of the more isolated areas. So why don't you jump on that one?
Yeah, what I take with me is when I go out in the woods, I have a knife and a small hatchet. I think it's better like a heavy knife, um, because you can make firewood better with a hatchet or a small axe. And I have my solo stove, so I need no fuel take with me. I can collect the wood. Can collect the wood. Um, yeah, and I have my blanket and my sleeping bag and my backpack and something to eat. Uh, Energy bars and something like this. In the most situation, that's enough.
And a first aid kit, and canteen, and some water purification tabs or something like that. That's
Yeah.
pretty much sums up
Yeah,
my stuff too. I uh, I enjoy going out there with a light little backpack. Do some that way you ain't got much to watch, and of course always some sort of firearm just to protect us from bears and lions and whatnot. The one thing I do like to carry is a spade for like digging a cat hole. So if you're out in the woods, you're not leaving your because you may have to use the toilet out in the woods, and you don't want other people stepping into it and whatnot. And
yeah,
you
that's
bury
it.
that down there at least a foot down in the ground. And nice thing about the U.S. military spade, little shovel, is that you can bend it and make like a little seat out of it, and have the other end sticking in the ground, and that way you're not trying to squat completely. And I use a couple other types of spades, but like one of them that I have, I can cut and process wood with it too. And if I'm going really light, I usually take like my Hest. Always my Hest F folder is with me, and a hazardous environment survival tool. It's a knife, pocket knife, and then made by DPX Gear. And I always take my Hest, just a normal hazardous environment survival tool, which is, it's got a little longer blade than the Hest F, and but same kind of accoutrements, except it's a fixed blade knife that has a full tang. And these are the kind of things that I'll take with me that are tools, other than some sort of boomstick to keep the lions, tigers, and bears away. Oh my. Your thoughts?
Yeah. When there are bears or something like wild animals, I think a gun is not the wrong choice, right? Yeah. Yes. I love to have a small knife for carving or something like this, and I say it's a hatchet. Yeah, but yeah, when you're in the woods, and when you make one day and a night overnighting or something like this, I think it's enough. A canteen for water, right? That's normal, I think. And it's very important. Yeah.
Yep.
Lightweight. I think I'm ready. I can run with my stuff when I need it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the nice thing going out with buddies is, like, let's say me and him went camping. The trade-off to keep it light, I could bring my spade, he could bring his hatchet, and that way you're not duplicating your own gear. Your buddy's got the gear for, he is right. I mean, like the one hatchet I have that I could, or the one spade that I have that I could process wood with, is an old East German spade. But the problem with taking that spade is you don't have a seat if you dig a cat hole, because it has just a regular rounded handle. And, you know, that would sort of moot the point of having to have it for a seat, seeing as it's just got a handle sticking up, and who wants to sit on a sticking up handle? I don't think anybody, right?
Yeah.
So, but that is nice when you go out with other people, because there's a lot of gear duplication, and then let's say there is somebody can go very light, and you know, and it's always good to talk about gear around the campfire afterwards, and what worked, what didn't, the hijinks. You could bust each other's balls on the hike and just laugh and joke and have a good time. And then at the end at the campfire, everybody's laughing about, oh, did you see? Oh, did you see? Oh, did you see? That's kind of the point of having the campfire, is to relax, wind down from a nice, good, long hike in the woods and chewing the fat. And like when I go to the woods, I'm going to be very honest. I will normally carry, if I'm carrying a gun, I'll carry, you know, a semi-auto of some sort, either rifle or pistol. But when I go out in the woods, I do like to have a revolver, and I keep the ammunition concurrent with each other. I'll keep like a 357 38, and I'll have ammunition for both, you know, on my person, you know, because the whole reason for revolvers for me is you can change shot. Let's say it's in a revolver, and I can put snake shot in it if we're in a snake infested area. So I can shoot a snake instead of having to get up close and try to hope I don't get bit as I try to hack its head off. You know, it's just a lot cleaner way. And, you know, and then that snake can be a meal for the night. You know, you don't know. You just don't know what'll happen. And it's kind of an insurance policy. And if I'm going to be out in the woods, I just don't want to carry a whole bunch of silliness where I'm got to carry 3 different types of ammunition. Whereas if I have a couple of speed loaders for the revolver, I can mix, and I do. I have like 5 speed loaders, and one of them I have a mix of all different kinds of ammo. And then I have a bandolier for the 38 357 lever action, plus 7, 8 in the tube. In my lever action, it's a Rossi, and that's pretty much, what I'll take out to the woods if I'm just going out there to hike, just because it's an insurance policy. If something bad happens, like an unexpected 4-legged critter, you can deal with it and not have to worry about you or your friends getting taken out in a body bag or getting mauled. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah. That's it. Revolver is very good. But, I don't really need it when I'm at home.
Right. You guys don't really have that many problems out there.
This area is very, very, it isn't dangerous here in Germany. But when I hike with you in your country, I want to have a gun at my side.
Oh, of course.
When I wild animals and something like this, snakes with a machete, it's too close. It's too close. Yeah, very nice.
Indeed it is. And don't worry, there's a 410-22 combo that has your name on it if you come over. And you'll like it. It'll kill snakes. It'll also the different ammunition. If you needed to, you could drop bigger animal if you had to. So you're taken care of on that one, brother. But that's the whole point of it, man. Is you're not hunting. You're out there just to have fun. And people who neglect to bring a gun or two, well, they fell because, in all honesty, anything can happen in the woods. And, your woods are safe until they're not. And all it takes is that one time you're not.
Yeah.
And, so...
I want is a woman.
Yes.
But when you want to hunt, when you allowed to hunt, yes, and you want something to eat later from the campfire and something like this, and you hunt a small animal or large, you need a gun. You can't do this with you can do this with a bow or crossbow or something like this, but I think a rifle is better.
Well, I'll put it like this. It takes years to develop skill with a bow, or a crossbow is a little easier. It's always about shot placement with whatever you're using, so you have to know the functionality. But the easiest way to drop a game is with I will use my 357 during hunting season. I'm just limited to how many rounds I can have in it because of state law, because it's a straight cartridge. It's not a neck down cartridge. But it's just easier once you take somebody to the range, get them to sight in the rifle, or 410 shot. I prefer a shotgun because usually a shotgun, especially with the new copper solids that at the tip of them, they break away, so you make a massive wound channel in them, in the animal. Those type of rounds, you usually don't have the deer running too far unless you miss or just barely scrape it, and you just wound it a little bit. So there's some methodologies. I've seen some deer run away from both shotgun and bow or crossbow shots in the great state I live in because the person just didn't have good shot placement. And so that's just a fact.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think so. When you use a crossbow or bow or something like this, you must be a very good hunter. Because when you only hurt the animal, it's not good.
Right.
You must kill. You must kill it
Quickly.
with one shot.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
I did have one deer of mine. I dropped one deer one day, and I had two stamps. And then the other deer, I just got buck fever. First I dropped the doe, and then once she dropped, I saw the buck. And I rushed a shot, and I dropped it. Now when I got to her, her heart exploded. I blew her heart out. I hit, and I watched that damn leg fly off. And that damn thing got up, ran away. I tried to track it and track it and track it. Finally lost the track on that buck. Now, one or two things he did. He either was able to put that stump in some mud and stop the bleeding. I've seen some animals after I shot them that had been hit numerous times in different hunting seasons. We're talking big deer, right? And, they're old enough, they've been hunt several seasons. And I've seen some with some pretty severe damage, and they're still out there walking around. And so that's why I say somehow they stopped the bleeding. I don't know how, but I've seen it in real life. And damn thing, so that deer either survived it or bled out. And the bad thing is if it bleeds out like that, you feel bad because, it's like the deer suffered, and you don't want to see any animal suffer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's very, very important that you, when you hurt the animal, deer or something like this, you must track it, and then you need this sidearm like a revolver or a pistol or something like this to finish it. I think many of the hunters use a knife, but I think the gun is the better way to end the life of this poor deer or animal or something like this.
Well, I agree with you in theory. Here's the problem, though, is you get into laws of countries, laws of states, and like you can hunt with a pistol in my state. And you can hunt with a rifle or a shotgun, right? Okay. But if you're hunting with a shotgun and you're allowed to carry, if you got your concealed carry, you can carry your pistol out there in the woods. It's not a problem. But it can't be of a caliber that you're hunting with. And so if you do, like I couldn't take my 357-38, both of them together. Because if you do shoot that deer up close, and it's not with that shotgun slug, and if you do it with the shotgun slug, I'll tell you what will happen is you'll break that skull. And the reason why they end it with a knife is probably because they don't want to break their trophy. And, if it's a buck especially, or a non-typical female, which sometimes you have a female that'll have horns. And you still treat them just like a buck. You have to use your buck tag for them. And so it's a matter of law. So sometimes you can't be too hard on the hunter for having to slit their throat, because the other option is, you destroy what you're hunting for, the meat, but you're also hunting for that trophy rack, and all parts of the deer should be used. The skin, you can make some buckskin shoes out of it or something. I mean, if you're going to kill an animal, you might as well use all parts of it. And that's just my philosophy of it. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, that's it. When you kill an animal, you must use everything. or you must know someone who can use this all or something like this. When you take the meat and let the rest of the body laying in the woods, it's not okay. When you kill the animal only for horns or only for, I don't know. You know what I mean.
Oh, I do.
Use all of the animal when you're a hunter, and you must know how to use everything, because it's a present um, from nature when you get your meat and when you take a life. Bless it.
Yeah, it's sacred. It's sacred. I agree with you on that, brother. That's totally the truth. I look at a critter, I don't care if it's a rabbit, deer, whatever. If you shoot it, you do the proper things you have to do with it and stay within the law always. And you can put a rabbit over a spigot all night. Not all night, but over the campfire. And you can turn that thing around on top of the campfire. Or, if you're going out hiking at some places, you're able to pull up right into an area and you have your camp out area already. I carry in the back of my Nissan Xterra, I carry all my Dutch ovens and cast iron pans in the back of it. And the reason for that is I may want to, camp out somewhere. And if I do, spur of the moment, I'll be able to cook right there.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. A very good piece of meat over the fire. It's nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, are there any other subjects you want to touch on this first inaugural show of Campfire Corner with Dusty and Kaiser?
Yeah. It's very nice.
Any other subjects you want to talk about? Like any specific type of tools or things you think you've used before or something?
I was thinking next time.
I was thinking next
Okay.
time.
Okay, that
Brother,
sounds
huh?
good. All right, we've got
okay.
we've done a really good show. So what I'll say is, folks, thank you for stopping by the Campfire Corner with Dusty and Kaiser. And I give him top floor note because this was his kind of idea during that hike. And I just really enjoy talking with him a lot. He's a lot of fun. And look forward to our next show. With that being said, show out.